Season 3 is finally here, everyone, and with it comes some patch notes which I think are going to interest you a lot. These are a big change compared to last season's patch notes, and we're actually going to see some real in-game changes. So let's take a look, shall we? As I'm sure you've seen, there's an in-game event going on right now, and Verdansk has been nuked. It's a long time coming, but it's finally happened. And right now, basically, you can only play Rebirth Island. Quite weird. It's at night. It's a continuation of the story. Then there's another event tonight, and that'll be at 8 PM, so the same time that the previous event was on. Hopefully we won't all be sat in server queues. But anyway, let's look at what else is actually going on. So we know the update sizes. That's boring. Let's go past that. So this is the event that's coming tonight. So this is starting today, and that's the hunt for Adler. And this will be another in-game event like we've seen previously, where you can do different things in-game and get basically rewards for it. But the good thing about this one is that you can actually get a new operator skin, and that's different from what we have seen previously. Usually it's like calling cards, charms, blueprints, that kind of thing. So that's something to look forward to. I'm going to skip like what we actually get in the battle pass here, just because I will be going over that in a video a little bit later today. A general update here, and this is for PC players. Basically now people with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics card can now use DLSS to boost performance and all that kind of thing. The end of game open mic has been turned off on game modes with infinite respawn mechanics. So basically in Plunder you can't shout at people at the end of the game. Player rank will now display the correct rank icons in the after action report. Unbelievable that that's, you know, not a current thing when we've had like prestiges in the game for so long. Anyway, loot that spawns across Verdansk has once again been updated. It now exclusively consists of Cold War weapons, so that you won't find any Modern Warfare weapons on that map. And then we've also got only legendary weapons will spawn as blueprints. Players no longer lose armor when they're near a thermite grenade when they're using a riot shield. And sticking, this is big by the way, this one here is huge. Sticking a player with the Semtex will now always down them. So even if you've got full armor, you're doing great, you're, you know, destroying a squad, a guy with like, you know, a 0.3 KD could just get a lucky stick, bam, you're gone. It's quite big. I know it's like realistic, but it just sort of levels that playing field a little bit more. I'm not sure if I like that or not. So for audio settings, they've added mono audio to the volume. I don't think that's anything major. We don't want to stick by that one. We've got some big stuff coming up. There's a few bug fixes here. I'm not going to go through all of them because they're not, to be honest, that interesting. But there's a few bugs that they've fixed. So Cold War barrels where hip spread and ADS idle sway were being increased when they shouldn't have. They've fixed a bug where operators appeared headless when using the FFAR, which, I mean, has been a problem actually basically since Cold War came to Warzone. And we've also got a bug fix here where a mission objective wasn't tracking properly, and that seems to be most operator missions, if you ask me. None of them seem that straightforward. And then we go down to weapons here. So as we know, we've got the new weapons, the PPSH, the Swiss K31 sniper, and then the LC10 and FFAR go into unlockable weapons now, and there's some reasonably easy challenges there. Now, assault rifles. So the Cold War AK-47. If you play Cold War, you know that it's an absolute monster on that game. So much so that it actually was kind of banned from competitive play because they wanted a little bit more balance in there. On Warzone, it's trash, as we know. But its recoil pattern has now been adjusted, and basically Call of Duty have put here that they know it's a great weapon, and they want people to actually use it, so they've made the recoil a little bit more manageable. And then the FFAR 83, which I thought was great. Again, it was great on Cold War, not so much on Warzone. Its minimum damage has been increased 1. Its maximum damage admittedly has been decreased a little bit, but the damage range has increased by 17%, and the recoil pattern has been adjusted. Again, this is basically to try and balance all the weapons, make the FFAR 83 potentially usable. Speaking of usable weapons, the FFAR, I don't know how it's going to play in game, but these patch notes suggest it is tanked. back to where it should be. Maybe you can actually use a different weapon to combat it, because maximum damage has decreased from 30 to 27. Maximum damage range decreased by 15%. So that is basically making it an SMG, right? It already feels like that. The neck damage multiplier gone down 0.1. Same with upper torso. And the ADS speed has decreased slightly as well. And I won't read all of this, but yeah, basically they're saying the FFAR has been running riot in Warzone for so long, and they just want other people to try different weapons. And you can sort of see that theme as we go through these. So the ROZE has had the recoil increase slightly, so it now becomes a little bit more usable. And then the ADS speed has decreased slightly, and the damage multiplier for the torso has gone down slightly as well. So weirdly, they were actually worried that the ROZE would immediately become the new meta after the FFAR. I didn't personally see that, but the Call of Duty thought that was potentially a problem, and they've basically tried to make sure that doesn't become a problem. They actually say something around here that's like, there'll always be a meta, right? And we kind of know that, and I'm excited to know what's next. It could be the Krig, because I mean, this looks very interesting to me. Head damage multiplier changed from 1.4 to 1.5. The neck damage one has gone from 1 to 1.3. Upper torso and lower torso both gone from 1 to 1.1. So basically, this is all round more damage. Wherever you're hitting them, that basically tells you, as long as it's above the waist, you're going to be doing a lot more damage with the Krig. It's still got issues with recoil, but yeah, it's a good improvement. Now the QBZ, so the move speed is increased with this. The ADS move speed is increased. Its damage multipliers have gone up for neck damage and upper torso. And again, this is great on Cold War. And we could see it actually being usable in Warzone. Because, I mean, some of these weapons right now aren't even usable. I see people using the Krig 6 and I think, you know, good on you, because I cannot do that. Like, when you're up against things like the M16 AUG, you're getting absolutely destroyed. And then a couple of notes on SMGs here. The LC10 bullet velocity increased a little bit. That's very good. The MAC-10, they've had a very slight nerf, decreased the maximum damage by 1. Not a big difference. Sniper rifles, the Pellington, we've got an ADS speed increase, and we've got the raise time increased slightly. So yeah, there's not much in that. The Pellington is still going to be trash, don't worry about it. And then the Cold War Tactical Rifle Charlie, i.e. the AUG, has had the time between bursts increased by 33%. So a third. That's massive. And the neck damage multiplier has gone down by 0.5 as well. M16, time between bursts increased by 10%. And again, the neck damage multiplier absolutely killed off by 0.7. So massive nerfs to the AUG and M16. Same for the FFAR. But this is where it gets really bad for the M16 and AUG. The barrels, right? So rapid fire no longer increases the sort of time in between bursts as much now. So that's been reduced by 58% on the M16, 56% on the AUG. And then we've got the fire rate increase that we had from the strike team barrel, now been reduced by 66%, 64%, 61% on the titanium barrel. And as you can see, it's a theme running and running and running here. And then on the Psychov, we've had the minimum damage reduced from 23 to 29. So that's another nerf for the Psychov, in addition to the one we had the other day, because as you probably saw, those 24 hours that were absolutely manic with the Akimbo Psychovs. And that actually applies to the auto and akimbo combined and individually. So that's a pretty big nerf. I mean, it'll still be usable to an extent, but it's not going to be, you know, the meta that's slapping us around the map for the next few months. And then onto lasers, we see the ADS speed penalty reduced by 20%, so it's made that a little bit more viable. There's nothing else massive around. I mean, the ADS speed penalty reduced by 20%, so you can actually be using this salvo fast mag a lot more, well, just a lot more on your weapons now, because that ADS penalty did kick you in the teeth a little bit. And then the speed mag for the SMG sniper pistols, basically the speed mag has had aiming down sight speed, its penalty reduced by between 40 and 20%, particularly very good for SMGs, I think, when you're rushing people. The muzzles, there's not too much here to be that bothered about. And again, optics, no one really uses these, so I wouldn't get hung up on them either. And then for rear grips, we've got increases to ADS speed reduced by roughly 10%. So basically, if you're using a rear grip, you're not going to be ADSing as quick, which is kind of sad, but there we go. And then we just go down the page here. This is the big one, right? Basically, this season has completely changed compared to last season. So the FFAR doesn't look like it's going to rule the roost. M16 and AUG from the patch notes are dead, right? And ROZE, even the operator changed. So they've adjusted ROZE in order to improve the operator's readability / visibility where sources of light are available. Now, that seems a bit ominous, a bit vague. We're going to have to see how that pans out in game. They can't change it too much, right? They can't just put like a high-vis jacket on her. They just can't do that. So I'm not sure how much of an impact that's going to have, but it seems to be good news for me. There's new operators. Again, I'm going to go over them in a different video, so I'll skip past. Prestiges, by the way, they look absolutely fantastic. I don't know what else to say. Particularly this last one I like. I know plenty of you will like this kind of hockey mask one. There's no doubt in that. And then that is basically it. In the store, the new tracer packs, you know, blueprints, blah, blah, blah. We all know about that. Download size, again, it's just reiterated that. So that's actually everything. And I think these are, I mean, some of this is absolutely huge, I think, particularly the AUG M16, because they have been kicking us around for a long time. The FFAR looks like it's over. Potentially, it'll still be a bit useful. But I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be new metas in town, new map, new operators, and who knows, we might even get to see ROZE in the shadows. But that's all from me for now. Like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, and bye for now.